The ego will protect you from feeling the hurt that is in your body from childhood. And according to David Fisher, we can use our triggers to heal.
Whether you're going to the phone, whether you're going to porn, whether you're going to the gym, there's a feeling I don't want to sit with it. And then you can do whatever, but I want you to experience getting used to feeling what it's like in the discomfort and the unease, because that's what you need to get through.
David and I have the most authentic and candid information about why we are the way we are and how to truly begin healing our physical and mental health issues. David has created a guideline for us to come back to ourselves. And with years of inward journeying, David came to a place where he's able to teach us how to heal from our childhood wounds and to really create a life that we deserve, connected to ourselves, connected to our partner, and feeling like we have purpose in this world. All right, David, welcome to the show, man. I opened up Instagram once and you popped up and you were talking about love and fear and something about spiritual bubblegum. I was like, whoa, what's going on here? Who is this guy? And, you know, oftentimes we see people talk about spiritual content, spiritual messaging, and we feel kind of separate from them because they're in this like, I'm enlightened or this guru, but you make it so personable and relatable. You know, I feel like we would sit down in a bar and we'd have a deep conversation. So I want to welcome you to the show, but I want to give reverence to the messaging that you're putting out. You came into my house with a bunch of love stickers and I wanted to bring this to the camera, and you gave me a love book. Like I can feel the love radiating from you and you connect it to your heart. But anyway, welcome to the show, my man.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
I wanted to give some love from the beginning. All right. I want to cover a lot of these things that people are suffering with. A lot of us feel contracted, anxious, depressed, not feeling good in our bodies. Our relationships are falling apart. Very common. What is, you've done all of this searching, reading, learning, embodying. What are some things really that are the anchors for us really just feeling good every single day and waking up excited about life?
I think before we can get to being excited, feeling good, we need to understand why we're not. And once we understand the dynamics of how we got to be the way we are, oh, I'm like this because of this. How do I undo this? So once we undo it, then our natural excitement and joy and love comes out. It's what's in the way of it. So you can't just be enlightened or be the light or let go or surrender. No, you can't just do that. There's a process.
Well, there's 100 of books that are saying we could just let go, but there's a process.
Yeah, and I truly do believe, just from my own journey, and this is nothing new. I mean, the man they called the Christ, the man they called the Buddha was talking about this. Everything's been rehashed over thousands of years, and we've had amazing gurus through the 60s talking to us about it. It's really from our childhood. Every single one of us were little babies of joy and love. Let's just say that in essence, we're just little babies of joy and love. It kind of ends there, and then that's where all the stuff that covers us up begins. And it's kind of due to systems in place, which most people are very unaware that this thing they call the patriarchy has affected all of us. And then there's what we think is normality. The nuclear family is a utter dysfunction.
And this is more common, right? More people have the dysfunction in the family than not in this world.
Dysfunction is normality. In fact, insanity is normality. When we really delve into it, we understand how all our suffering, everything we dislike about life is self-caused. It's quite crazy, and we don't know this. And
because it's normal.
It's normal, yeah.
And is it normal because we've been taught generationally, and then we go outside and society acts and embodies this normality that is dysfunctional?
Yeah, and now what we have these days, yes, the society is being society, and each person in society is being in their unknown dysfunction. But what we have, and which is incredible in our lives and for the last, let's say, 100 years, is we have this media that is written and narrated in TV, in movies, in cartoons, and even fictional novels by people of dysfunction who don't know they're dysfunctional. So they write as if this is normality. So when we watch what we're watching, it perpetuates the dysfunction as normality. So when we see people parenting the way they parent, or we see the way people argue in relationships, it's just normal. It's far from it.
It's not normal. So then that begs the question, what is normality? What does it feel like? What does it look like versus what we're experiencing?
To take full responsibility and accountability for this experience and understand that everything that's going on here is actually about me and it's from me. And the dysfunction is that we think the outside and other people are upsetting, disturbing, and triggering us. And then we react. And now we have arguments and disturbs and friction and conflict, whether it be nations or whether it be families or whether it be relationships. And it's understanding, which is really tough because it completely threatens everything you've built your whole life on, to understand that now I have to navigate and live a whole different way. Oh, so let's just say I'm with a girlfriend and my girlfriend says something and now I feel triggered. We all know what triggers, just upset and disturb. It seems like she upset me. My learning and my understanding is there's upset and disturb in me from my childhood, which she is a mirror showing me what's inside me. Now, normally I could go, don't call me stupid. I know what I'm talking about. That's me as a man, number one, hiding my shame of feeling stupid. This is the translation of what I just said. Don't call me stupid. I know what I'm talking about. What I actually have inside me is when I was a kid and I was an academic and teachers would ridicule me and people ridicule me, I felt stupid. I had a lot of shame. And that's stuck inside me. So what she says is nothing. It's just she's talking. But because I feel stupid, I now project from that and blame and complain about her so I don't deal with it. Now everybody's doing this. From road rage to argument. It's quite normal. So what would normally happen is she would say something. Oh, I feel triggered. And then I would translate this. Oh, wow, I feel stupid. That's not me. That's my little boy, my inner child. That's a wound from ages ago. So now I sit with it. And it's really powerful because I don't normally and have not normally sat in that pain, which is the shame of the little boy that got angry that he was made to feel small, whether he was shouted at by a teacher or by a parent. And that's been stuck in him. So to not feel that normally, that's why I shout. Don't call me stupid. I know what I'm talking about. So now that is to be sat in. Okay. And now it dissolves. If I sit in it and I feel the pain and I move through it, it dissolves. So instead of protecting the pain and pointing and projecting from the pain, I sit in it. So now each time that gets triggered, it's less and less because I work through it. So if you imagine all of the things and wounds of childhood, I'm not good, I'm bad, I'm stupid, I'm wrong, I'm insecure, I'm ugly, I'm unworthy, I'm undeserving, nobody loves me, I'm not good enough. All of these interpretations that we created and perceptions and beliefs about ourselves have all shame. And those buttons get pushed all over the place. Instead of pointing and complaining and having arguments, we deal with that. And eventually nothing can touch me because I've dealt with everything that got touched. So this is, it's a communication and education of communication, which is very, very unknown. Although this has been written about in the 80s by some amazing couples therapies about how all of our childhood is affecting everything in our life. That's just one aspect of relationships.
So then I imagine that so many of us who are living with triggers, holding it in, unprocessing, are a lot of us holding it in and not even speaking up? Because I hear you say like, don't call me stupid.
Yeah.
Do some of us just kind of swallow it?
Absolutely. It's not always reacting. A reaction is to swallow it as well. It's to sit in it and to feel the feeling, oh, fuck, I'm stupid. I can't do anything right. No. So yeah, there's the wallowing, and then there's the projection, and where you defend and attack the wound. But yeah, a lot of people who just feel no good within themselves and not enough within themselves, they're just all day long.
Yeah.
I won't even speak up. They won't set boundaries in relationships. They won't speak up. And they'll also, a lot of people just apologize constantly for themselves. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry.
I know a lot of people. I've met people
Yeah.
like that all my life. I think I was like that for a while.
Yeah. And that's normality. See,
Mm.
I tell people, don't be sorry for yourself. What? Don't be sorry. You didn't do anything wrong. People say sorry, and it's like they've done something wrong. That's the inner child that feels, it's this nervousness. It's really insidious anyway.
Mm-hmm. And we can feel that energy in people continuously. And sometimes even if they don't say sorry, or they're just like, you can even feel before they're gonna say sorry, their energy is in that nervousness. It's like their skin is buzzing. So I imagine that most arguments then, like you said, in relationships are just coming from those 10 things or even more that we're holding in and that we're being triggered by. When we sit in that discomfort, you said it can be really hard, especially in the beginning. What does it feel like to sit in the discomfort in the middle of an argument saying, I'm not stupid, you're stupid, and then we go, okay, hold on. I remember I watched this podcast. I'm going to sit in this discomfort. Is there something we can do practically while we're sitting that helps us get through it faster, or are we just sitting?
Number one, this very awareness that your triggers are about you. Therefore, you now have an awareness that you are going to react. That's it. Because most people who aren't aware are just going to go on this autopilot. Yeah. Number one, you're now aware. Number two is there was a gentleman called Viktor Frankl who lived in the concentration camps. I'm not sure if I can get the quote right, but he said, in between stimulus and reaction, there is a window for peace. So there is, if we can feel that I want to react, first thing I can do is that feeling is then go, breathe. Just say, can you give me a moment, please? And you express your way through it. It's a whole new operating system, because what you're trying to do is protect pain and hurt. And the last thing you want to do is sit and feel it so it can feel like a tsunami. That's where the real pain and hurt of people who have had seriously abused childhood snaps, and we call them criminals and bad and wrong, and we put them in prison. And they are not bad and wrong. They do things, but they have so much pain and hurt that they can't control it. I mean, we're talking about a normal argument in a relationship. There are people that have that much pain from their childhood that they snap and do things that we then punish them for.
It gives us so much more compassion for just people. You know, it's incredible how it's sort of backwards. How can we teach children at a young age to regulate, right? They can't maybe be in charge of autonomously where they live and how they're treated, but maybe at an early age, we're teaching them how to just feel their body and actually sit with it, breathe through it. And as we get older, we at least have tools. It's unfortunate the normalcy of that, the way we grew up in many of these households that are really traumatic for a lot of these children. And like you said, it's normal. How will it affect people physically if they don't sit with it? How will their physical self and their physical bodies be affected as well? Will their mental health be affected as well? Like, does it weigh down on you over time? Today, I'm gonna talk to you about something that has been a game changer for me. It really is one of my go-to supplements that I use every single day. It's in my morning routine every single day. Mighty Pure from Timeline. It is urolithin A, and it's a powerful postbiotic. And I want you to think about it this way. There's not a lot of supplements that are helpful for your mitochondria, period. And your mitochondria are essential. It is centralized to your body health. It is so, so important. I would say that and nervous system dysregulation and regulation are the two most important things you can do for your physical health. So urolithin A, it's a powerful postbiotic, but you can't easily get it from your diet. It helps your mitochondrial function. But unfortunately, as we get older, those little powerhouses don't work as efficiently. And we feel tired. We feel less mobile. We feel like we're aging. And that's where MitoPure comes in. It is the first product ever to offer a precise dose of urolithin A. And after 2 months of taking the soft gels daily, you will start seeing improvements in your cellular energy, your muscle strength, your endurance. After 4 months, you might notice you're recovering faster from your workouts, less inflammation, you're more resilient. But for me, it's been a big part of my health routine. I started using MitoPure because I wanted to maintain my strength, my vitality. I wanted to feel better. And one of the things that I love most about it, it's backed by science. It's super science-based. It's the #1 doctor recommended urolithin A supplement. It's NSF certified, clean label certified, clean product. Plus, Timeline makes it easy to fit it into your lifestyle, whether you use the berry powder, sometimes I use that. Sometimes I could put it into my smoothie. I often use the soft gels, that's my go-to, but when I run out, I use the powder. And right now, Timeline is offering you, the Heal Thyself listener, 10% off of your first order. Go to timeline.com/DRG, use the promo code DRG, that is TIMELINE.com/DRG to go support your mitochondria. Man, as the weather cools down, I am starting to think about the importance of creating a nice, cozy, healthy sleep environment. I love my bed, especially in the winter. And that's why I wanted to chat about Birch mattress. It has been a long time. I love Birch because y'all been with me since the beginning. You really, took a bit on me, and I appreciate that. But I love Birch, and I'll sing it from the top of the heavens for a long time. Anytime my friend Peter, y'all know Peter Crone, he reached out to me, he said, what mattress should I get? I said, go get a Birch. Birch. It is fantastic. It is a top quality mattress, got all the certifications. I have the Birch Luxe one. It's been one that I've been having for years. I love it. My girlfriend loves it. It's the best. She rolls around sometimes she doesn't roll. I never wake up. And this coming from a light sleeper. But what really drew me in is their commitment to organic and natural materials. We're talking about organic cotton, wool, 100% natural latex. And what's equally as important is what they don't use. A lot of mattresses out there, they have polyurethane foam. You ever have a Tempur-Pedic mattress? You could drop a bowling ball on it, you won't feel the distribution of, the movement. But it is terrible for you. It has harmful off-gassing chemicals. They have fiberglass in it. You're experiencing the really over time respiratory dysfunction, hormonal dysfunction. And as someone who tends to sleep hot, I can get real hot when in bed. I've noticed that organic materials really, really help. The way that it regulates my temperature, especially the natural wool, hypoallergenic, mildew resistant. I feel really sensitive. I feel clean. I feel safe in my bed. It is my sanctuary. And I'm so OCD about having a clean, quality bed. And Birch is the best of the best. You get a exclusive Black Friday deal for you, the Heal Thyself listener. Check this out. This is the highest that I heard this year. You get 27% off of your mattress purchase, plus 2 free EcoRest pillows made from recyclable materials. Go to birchLiving.com/heal thyself and use the code BirchPartner27 at checkout. They're going to deliver it right to your door, free within the United States. You're going to get a 100-night sleep trial. And to make sure you love it, it's backed by a 25-year warranty. That is BirchLiving.com/heal thyself.
Yeah, we use this wonderful word manifestation. And everything is a manifestation of how you are. So if you are not at ease and you don't find peace and you're not regulated, what are you? Dysregulated. If you're not at ease, you're diseased. Diseased and dysregulated over time, this body, this isn't exaggerated of what's going on. I say, my mother died of a heart attack and I knew it was coming because she would be like, a stick shift, you call it. Put it in first gear and just drive with your foot on the accelerator. That's it. That's what some people live like. They're so neurotic, they're so anxious that eventually the body's going to go, I'm screaming. And so we call it medical diagnosis, a lot of the time is a lot of repressed emotional stuff. It's, again, Louise Hayes, I think, an author from a long time ago, said, there are very specific emotional repressions that cause certain diseases. So yeah, definitely your body speaks to you and tells you. And there are some dictionaries you can read now about certain things. If you have a certain lower back pain or a certain kidney issue, and it will tell you about your emotions, and then you'll go, oh my God, that's me. So it's not new science, but it's a real science.
Yeah, and I'm so intrigued by it, because in my medical experience over time, it was never just enough to be like, okay, well, they don't have enough of this vitamin or mineral or antioxidant, or maybe they're mechanically off and they go somewhere to get fixed, and some stretching and chiropractic. That's not necessarily it. Oftentimes it's deeper in the nervous system, in the fascia, the body, and it's being expressed physically
Yeah.
over time. And I always think it's like your genetic makeup is different than mine, and maybe your vulnerabilities are different than mine, and vice versa. So maybe it manifests as you with arthritis and me with autoimmune
Right.
something, like it's different for different people, but it's so fascinating to me. So what I'm hearing is that the importance of being able to communicate in that space of the stimulus and reactivity,
Right.
communicate that I need a moment, because a
Yeah.
lot of us get caught. We get caught.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, depending on who you are with, this is the understanding of, if you're going to get into a relationship and you're starting to learn this kind of information, to have a communication with your partner. Hey, honey, listen, I'm learning about this regulating my nervous system and learning not to react. We need to get on the same page. I tell people, if you're going to read this book, I have a book for couples they should read. You both have to read this. So you both get on the same page to have an understanding of where you are. And if you meet someone and you're dating, you need to get to know that this person is on that kind of same page as well. Otherwise, you're going to be going, you're very reactional, and that's not something you want to be telling someone.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Never. No one reacts well to
No one reacts well to being told they're very reactional,
very
because they are
reactional.
where they are, and that's okay. But if you're doing the work and you decide to pair with someone that's not doing the work, you have to accept that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the issue, is a lot of people in this world who are doing the work, they take on people and they go, oh, you're not doing the work. You should be this and you should be that. That's your work.
Mm-hmm.
That's your work. And you have to accept within your own boundaries that other people are where they are.
Mm-hmm.
So people educating yourself and the people that you're with, there are some people who I know and I've known for a long time that aren't in this understanding, and I go into utter acceptance of where they are.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay. And I tread differently and lightly in communicating, and I can feel the triggers and just go, don't go there. Just don't go there.
I think that's so important, because a lot of people who are listening or viewing this show, this podcast, they're already starting to get into the work or doing the work, or they've been in it for a while. And it gets harder when you go back home and you go, oh, my dad won't read this book that I gave him, or my mom won't change this ways. And I showed her a YouTube video and it worked for me. And it's like that acceptance that it's kind of up to us to do our own embodiment work.
That is also the greatest part of the work, is that your work is to understand that it's your work, and where everybody is, that's it. You wanting them to be where you want them to be, you're in real trouble. So your work is, again, dad triggers you, your brothers trigger you.
Mm-hmm.
Breathe. Okay. Can I love them even though they're there? Can I have compassion for where they are? Or do I want to get pissed, angry, try and force myself onto them, try and change them so they can be, the whole world needs to be where I need it to be. Do you understand how crazy that is? The whole world needs to be where I am, then I can be happy. Wow. How about I accept everyone in politics, in war? I have to. I got to accept it. I might not think it's correct behavior, but I have to accept where everybody is. Otherwise, this then becomes diseased, restless, unhappy. And people say, well, you have to care. Who says I don't care? It's just that I need to be an example and become peace. If we do truly understand that we are a collective consciousness and the world is one collective consciousness, nothing is really separate. What contribution am I making to the collective by getting angry and upset and trying to change everyone? So if I'm an example doing what I'm doing, what I do on Instagram by coming here, now I'm an example, and people are going, oh, But if I'm out there getting triggered, I used to be road rage, all of it. I used to be complete opposite. So I'm my own example.
This is perfect for the holidays coming up. There are so many people that go back home and they're so triggered that, oh my God, and it was Ram Dass, I think, said, if you think you're enlightened, then go back home
Yeah.
with and it's incredible because it's true. It's like we do all this work and we read all these books and we're in it, and then we go back home and we're reminded of the consciousness that, we grew up in. And oftentimes people might be inspired by you, but they might expand and change in their own time, if ever. And that was a big acceptance that I know I had and many other people. So it would be crazy to think, like you said, it was when you said it, the whole world should be the way that
Yeah.
I am. No, that's how we make ourselves sick, having that
Yeah.
animosity every day. I want to talk to you about something that is super crucial for our health, and it's often overlooked. It is proper hydration. It's not just about drinking water. It's about getting the right balance of electrolytes too. That is where our longtime partner at Heal Thyself, who we love, LMNT, comes in. I've been loving their electrolyte drink mixes for a long time. It has been one of my go-tos after the sauna, one of my go-tos to sip on throughout the day, even when I don't work out, but I love their sparkling water. This one just came out. I took a picture of my fridge. Maybe you guys saw it on my story. Stocked with LMNT sparkling water. It is the thing that I go to. It's so good, especially after you're heated up internally, right? Like, let's say you do a workout, you go for a jog, you go for a yoga class, you lift some weights, you do the sauna, you open this up and then you drink it. It is going to hit because it's going to hydrate you, but it's good. And it's unique because there's not a lot of carbonated electrolyte drinks, if any. And it's really great because there's no sugar in it and it's hydrating. But what I love about LMNT really is that they're focused on optimal health, proper hydration. They're research-based. They're going into showing actually that we need more sodium than the government might recommend. Our cells need potassium, sodium, magnesium, and they're adding it up 2 to 3 times more. So LMNT is delivering all of the good stuff and taking out all the crap. So whatever you are, an athlete, an everyday person, a mom, a CEO, mom who is a CEO, all of it. LMNT has you covered. It is great for balancing your electrolytes, reducing any electrolyte dysfunction symptoms like headaches, cramps, brain fog. The best part is LMNT is offering you, the Heal Thyself listener, a very special deal. While you're here, I want you to check out the LMNT sparkling beverage. I love watermelon, but check out any flavor that calls to you. And you'll get a free LMNT sample pack with any purchase. Go over to drinklmnt.com/DRG. That is DRINKLMNT.com/DRG and enjoy getting hydrated. As much as we focus on what we eat, it is equally as important to consider how we prepare our food. And that's where OurPlace comes in. They are revolutionizing the way that we cook with our amazing cast iron line. Now, I've been using OurPlace cast iron pans for maybe 3-4 months now. It's been in my kitchen. It's fantastic stuff. It's a game changer. What sets it apart? It's enameled. So unlike those traditional cast iron pans, they're never going to rust, and they're incredibly easy to use and to clean. But here's what really impressed me. What I'm most excited about is how serious OurPlace is about safety. The cast iron line doesn't just meet the FDA standards, it goes far above and beyond. There's no Proposition 65 warning in these products in California. That means that's a big deal if you're health conscious like me. It is not leaching those heavy metals that a lot of these pots and pans are doing. And get this, the enamel coating on these pans is made from glass-like particles that are fused to the surface with intense heat. And it's not just for show. The coating actually meets all of FDA and Proposition 65 standards as well. It passes all the requirements for leachable cadmium or lead. That means 0 of the nasties are getting into your food. And if you're really truly looking to upgrade your cookware, go check out OurPlace. They got some of the most aesthetically beautiful. We have one right here in Abbot Kinney in Venice. You can walk right into the store. Beautiful, beautiful cookware, beautiful home stuff. If you want to give it a try, OurPlace offers a 100-day trial with free shipping and returns. Head over to FromOurPlace.com and use the code DRG at checkout to receive 10% off site-wide. That is FromOurPlace.com. Use the code DRG. If you love the podcast and you want to be down with the Dr. G Heal Thyself community, we give incredible tips every single week on getting a healthier physical, mental, and emotional body. The newest updates of my favorite products, the newest updates of my favorite practices. Stay in the loop by joining the Dr. G community. All you got to do is go to any one of my posts on Instagram and comment the word news. You'll get a DM to join.
Now, the really broader perspective of all of this, and I can only say it's a theory, although past lives have more evidential proof that has been corroborated from children all over the world. Therefore, what I'm saying is, my soul has a journey, your soul has a journey, and your parents and your family and everyone has a journey. Where I am in this lifetime, my karmic journey, my curriculum, my karma is mine. Yours is yours. The guy in the traffic in the head who cut me up is his. But if I don't understand that they're on a journey, and if they don't get the journey this lifetime, it's okay. I'm going to get the journey this lifetime, so I don't have to wait till I'm dead to rest in peace. I can rest in peace in life. So understanding that they might not come to an understanding this lifetime, but they could get it in 5 years, in 10 years, or the next lifetime. That allows me to go, it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. That's their journey. That's their journey where they are. And I can't change that. But I can change me and go, you know what? I mean, I think even if he listens, who knows? But, you know, I've had my brother I wanted to change. He's been a big drinker for many years. And it upset me because I was worried about his health. And to get to the point where I wasn't upset and wasn't angry because he wouldn't listen, and to come to compassion and just love him. To just love him. That's his journey. And whatever happens, that's his journey. And I get to just love him instead of just going, fuck, why don't you listen? You're going to die if you don't look after disease. So, okay. So it is, you know, but it's not easy to say, just accept. Understanding all of what we've just said to get to that understanding of acceptance.
It's a really powerful moment to be able to do that.
Yeah.
To really accept, especially when it's a loved one, and it's especially when you have information in front of you that they can live better and be happier and be healthier, and they're not choosing that. That's tough.
Yeah.
But the energy of you, even in that visualization, when I was hearing it, when you were talking to your brother, is much just more open, and the nervous system feels calmer, and the compassion.
Yeah.
And I'm taking the role of your brother, feeling that and being like, that is the energy that would allow me to change. Isn't that ironic?
That's the beauty of it is, and there was Wayne Dyer back in, I don't know when he was, but he said, when you change the way you see things, the things you see change. And my relationship with my brother, since I've come into acceptance, now is that much more beautiful, because now there's less friction, because we were always looking for an argument. And now there are ways where I can say, can I express something to you? Is that okay? So I'll start with that, which means instead of just telling him anything, I say, can I express something to you? Yeah, okay, he'll say. So now he's ready and he's open, instead of forcing something on him or telling him something. And eventually, you know, after I say, yeah, I can see that, instead of serious arguments.
Yeah.
So it's a very beautiful way of, once I come into acceptance, the whole relationship changes anyway. And this will happen with, I went to this college and I studied spiritual psychology. And this is a beautiful story. There was a girl who, after the first year, she stood up and she said, a year ago, I had a job. And I hated my job and I hated everybody at my job. And I've been at this college for a year and I'm still at the same job. But I love my job and I love everybody who's still there at my job. And the only thing that's changed is me. And I thought that was wow. She was seeing through the lens of her. So going back to the disagreements with the family or the disagreements with my brother, understanding that everybody, going back to dysfunction, is wounded, traumatized to varying degrees. They don't know it. They have no idea how to navigate and translate this. So they're operating blind, as they say in the Bible. Once was blind, now I can see. So they're operating blind to their pain and their hurt. And so how they're operating and why they're behaving the way they are is because of that. So if I understand that, immediate compassion, they don't see it. So if they're argumentative or they're obnoxious, you know where it's coming from. So I can have compassion and thinking, what a fucking asshole. Why can't you just be how I want you to be?
Yeah. Yeah. And that won't happen.
No, I mean, I've come from the journey where I would fight everybody. So it's very, very special. So the more people who start to learn this, which is happening more and more,
Yeah.
we have these communications, people understand, the world changes, and it is changing. It's really very beautiful.
Mm-hmm. It's a witness, right? As the consciousness is changing. I can feel that too. I mean, I remember when I felt like I was the only person reading these books in my community in New Jersey, you know? I came out here and there was more people, but even more. And even, and I'm like hearing things from people and I'm like, whoa. And my friends from back home are like asking questions that I had never expected them to ask 20 years ago. And I was like, okay, this is pretty cool, you know? Um, we I want to go into like, so many of us are like, what's my purpose? What am I doing here? Why is my life this way? You know, we kind of cover the latter one, right? Why does the life create like this? Why am I holding so much contraction? And we talk about the inner child, but the bigger questions of like people feeling purposeless, people feeling like they're not necessarily connected to this life and they're kind of going on autopilot. What's going on? Are we disconnected from something that we're not seeing?
The system, again, of how we are raised into the reward, external validation. You be a good boy, you get a cookie. So now I'm playing for a cookie. I'm playing for love, acceptance of approval. So now I'm looking for something from the outside. Now I go to little school and I get a gold star. Got a gold star. I'm great. Now I got to get grades. Everything's geared to getting something. So we now remove ourselves from ourselves. We literally abandon ourselves. So we're always triggered in the TV and the movies and the cartoons, everything. Go and get the prince and princess, go and get the marriage, go and get the success, go and get the fame, get it. And so we think that getting something is where we're going to find our purpose. Musicians, artists, I was an actor, I thought that's what it was. So it's what's driving us to go and get something. When we change or do this work, say I feel unworthy or undeserving or no good, bad, wrong, stupid, to compensate from that, I might go out to prove to the world, look, see, I'm somebody. But you're proving something from a point inside you. What I'm saying is the purpose, your purpose, someone said this once, your purpose is to be you, to shine and be whatever comes out. But we've forgotten who we are because we became this other person to please our parents. We became this other person to get grades. And again, this is not a natural thing for humans to do, to seek outwardly. We were hunter-gatherers for millions of years in tribes. We were farmers for 12,000 years. So we just survived. Now there's this thing called success, and there's go out and get something. You can't get anything. This can't be added to. So we have a world full of people who have acclaimed however many followers, who have however much fame and fortune. They're all seeing shrinks and they're all trying to figure out why. You know, Michael Jackson, Elvis Presley, however many of them were on pills, they all had fame and fortune and were still stuck because they didn't deal with all of the issues of dysfunction which is, so we're chasing something outside of ourselves. The purpose, so okay, I'll go on my journey. I was an academic. I thought it was stupid, I was bad, I was wrong. I couldn't please my mother. I didn't want to wear a tie. Everything I did was no good, wasn't good enough for my mother. So I didn't realize it, but I wanted to make my mom happy so I could feel loved. So I felt unloved. That was me that did that. So now I'm trying to do something to make mom happy. So eventually when I find acting, she tells me it's not a good idea. And I'm like, you'll see. You'll see means you'll love me. So then I do well and I'm in movies and TV and my mom's proud and I feel amazing. She's like, Uncle John called. He said he saw you on TV. Oh my God, you're on this. Oh my God. I'm like, yeah. Look at me. Look, see? My mother dies suddenly. And I get another acting job. Why am I doing this? I have no want or need for this anymore. Oh my God, I was just trying to make my mum happy. There's nothing bad in acting. So I realized that I was seeking the validation from my mother, from getting the glory. Look, see?
Mm-hmm.
So that was a huge lesson.
Mm-hmm.
That everyone thinks their purpose is to get value from the outside. And so that was a great journey too, which helped this journey to go, right, wow, I have no value inside me.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a tough one to go into.
Mm-hmm. And how many, thank you for sharing that story, right? It's very, very potent. How many people are living their lives, you know, the jobs they have, the marriages they're in, to please other people other than themselves, right? We've abandoned ourselves since we were kids.
Absolutely.
And it's a really important for those of you viewing and listening. It's such an opportunity right now to take a big audit of your life and how much of this just might be rooted in someone other than yourself, right? You may be successful at your job. You may be doing very well, you know, and have had a lot of accolades through life, but who is it for, right? And this is really important to ask because, well, how much of our life is ours, you know? So when we take that moment and we have this, you know, internal crisis and we go, oh my God, so much of my life isn't mine. And then we're sort of being like, okay, well, let me connect to myself and then start learning about what is mine. What is then why are we here? Why did our soul come here? What's the purpose? Why do we come here to have this life? If there's so much hardship and pain and trauma and disconnection and living for other people, why we're suffering so much? What would be the point?
So again, something just came up for me as I'm listening to what you're saying. And I had an astrological reading by a very, very dear friend. She's an amazing astrologer, Coyote Star Astrology. And she told me your journey, your life purpose, this was in the astrological, was to go through all of your wounds and trauma, all of your addictions, because I was a very violent child. I got expelled from school and Sunday school and Cub Scouts. I was an addict and a dealer, and I went through all of that. And she said, your journey is to go through it all and come out and be a teacher with everything you've learned. And she told me this before I even knew that I was going to, I couldn't possibly know. And she says, you're on purpose. And now I get it. So your curriculum, your soul's journey is to set these seeming difficulties with whatever parents you have and whatever disabilities you have or whatever diseases to come to a place where there are many, many people who are doing incredible things who are not able, and your purpose, I don't know your journey, but this is now your purpose, is to give amazing information and talk to people and let people get to hear great things. So you're influencing and inspiring people. And this is part of your purpose because you're relaxed. This is just, it's happening. I don't know your story. Did it just start falling into place?
Oh yeah, pretty much. I was in medicine and I was seeing people one-on-one, and then
Right.
I didn't want to do it. It was too much for me. And then this opportunity came up and it kind of flowed into
So why were you in medicine?
because my mom died of breast cancer. So I followed into medicine. So I mean, that was the gift of her death, right? Pushed me into this world. I wanted to help
Push you to
people.
here too.
Pushed me to here too. Yeah. And it was all connected, right?
Yep.
Because this wouldn't have happened if I wasn't into cancer and didn't grow up with the friends that I did who actually started this media company and I worked with. So everything fell into place. There was a chain of events that I realized 2 years ago, and it blew me away that had it not been for the death, it'd have been a very different experience here.
My mother had cancer 30 years ago. And that immediately made me dig into what, why, and how. I didn't become a doctor, but I've been studying health and everything since. So that's why I'm here, because that was the journey. Even though I went on the Please Mummy, she didn't pass. But I wanted to know because I got scared that she was going to.
Yeah.
And she got it a couple of times. So my journey was to unravel this medical food system. Why, what, how, I want to know. So
yeah, it's really powerful. And so if we listen, life will lead us to these places, but we all have different purposes, right? How do we connect more to our purpose? How do we even bring insight into that if we're talking to someone who's been at the same job for 20 years just on autopilot?
Well, the unraveling of the dysfunction, the working on the self, which is life is going to give you all these opportunities to do the work, to not react, to do whatever you want to call it, inner child work. So the more I work on my unworthiness, my undeserving, my stupid, bad, no good, not good enough, unloved self, all of this, the more I become whole again. That means that every reason that I was trying to compensate for the holes in my hole start to vanish, and I start losing interest in my old life as a doctor, as an actor. And as I start to work more, all of a sudden my interest, oh, I love this. I really want to do, I always wanted to do this. Guess what? Now you go from something you never really liked and wanted to do, but you were doing it for ulterior motives, to getting, as we call, authentic within ourselves. And all of a sudden you're drawn to, it can't not happen. There might be a little wilderness time where you go, what am I doing? I had that dark night of the soul, whatever you want to call it. Oh my God. I don't know what's doing. Nothing's coming in. No money's coming. What? No one's buying my art. No one's buying my movies. No one buying my book. What? Do the work. And then all of a sudden, it just started coming together without effort. So I think the more we carry on with life, we do what we're doing, but we do the inner work. And as that starts to work its process, everything starts, like you said, the dots start joining and synchronicities start happening, or an opportunity. Someone says, hey, I'm doing a podcast. Do we want to talk on, I like the fact that, oh yeah, okay. And then you look back in 5 years and you go, oh my God, look how it all connected to get here. But it started with your mother passing, my mother, having a scare. And I wanted to know. And that became a passion. I want to know. But there's something in there from a long, I don't know, that caused that to happen. Maybe this was already written. We didn't have to follow that journey. So I think the purpose comes when we shed the game we've been playing, the character we've been playing, the identity that we formed that wasn't real, just to please people, just to get acceptance, validation. Oh, now I can let go of that. Oh, what do I really want to do?
We unravel all of the dysfunction.
Yeah.
Right. And then this is back full circle to what you said, that we can't just say, I'm going to let go and be connected and now I'm spiritual. You got to go through a lot of mud and muck first.
Yeah. It took you a lifetime to get to here. So if it was that easy to go, look, some of the other days, like, just get out of your head and into your heart. And I was like, fuck, excuse me, cursing. I don't know what I'm allowed to say, but this is the hardest journey in the world.
The head to the heart.
To get there to there. And this is the unraveling. There's all this neurosis we formed and anxiety. And then there's a nervous system dysregulation. It's this beautiful emotional, mental, psychological, physiological, biological system that has been working as one. And you can't just go, yeah, I'm just going to go into my heart. Oh, great. Now I've got a purpose. Everything's right. Why hasn't everyone been doing that? Because this is it. It's like dying to who you were. All of my beliefs and perceptions and ideas and thoughts, all of my neurosis, the nervous system attached to that, unconscious, subconscious, chemicals they all release, that's got to change, and that's going to fight to survive. So that's an addiction in itself. So that's why just surrender. You can't tell a neurotic person to just surrender, because their neurosis is their addiction. Their fear is their addiction. Their worry is their addiction. Oh, okay. I'll just stop suffering. Why didn't I do this my whole life? It's work.
It's true work.
Was it Ram Dass said, grist for the mill. It's constant. But the more you work in the moments of every moment, and I believe this is, I do sessions with people and I say, you do one session and you'll go, but your work is after you get out of this session. I don't need you to come back because I'll show you everything, but your work is every moment. And those moments you need to be aware.
Yeah.
Those moments you need to do work with your inner child. Those moments you need to breathe. Those moments you need to constantly be on it. Because if not, you'll snap back like a rubber band and you'll just be on default dysfunction.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and it's worth it. You know, people say, you know, how long have I got to do this? I say, okay, this is the rest of your life you're talking about. If you were to spend a few years dedicating your life to just doing this inner work, and life's going to present you with all these wonderful opportunities, just a few years for another 30, 40 years.
Do it.
Would you do it? But it's tough.
Yeah.
And there's crying and wailing, and I didn't even know I could wail. I didn't know. I'd heard the word, but I didn't know, and I'm not religious in any way, but I was crying for Jesus.
Mm-hmm. The ego, when it's faced with something, you're gonna die if you do this, right? It's like that you said, it's an addiction and it's like doom, you know? So I know whenever I was faced with like swallowing my pride used to be really big when I was younger, and like, well, no, I wanted it to be this way and I wanted it to do this way. Well, I don't want to do it that way, you know? It was so tough because even when I knew with the awareness that here's my opportunity to lean into something, it's like everything in me was like resisting. And that's the work. It's like that mud and that muck to just like go, I don't want to do this. Doesn't feel, it feels too icky for me. I don't want it. And then you're just starting to do it and feeling it's safe to do this. And you're a different person in a way when you choose this reality, and it starts creating another version of you. And it's such a beautiful thing. But it's really being uncomfortable for a few years.
Absolutely. And we're not used to, why would we want to willingly be uncomfortable and willingly be in pain and willingly have serious, discomfort? You know, a lot of people tell me, why am I, it feels like I'm going to die. And I say, but are you?
Yeah.
But it feels like I said, are you going to die? Well, no. That's the ego. Smart is you think you're going to die, so you stop.
Yeah.
And I say the only way is that, I don't say it, but they say the only way is through. And it's that barrier that people stop at because it's a protection mechanism for the ego, because it's never been into the pain of the shame, the pain of the unworthiness, the pain. Because I don't know, I know as a little kid, a little boy, the way I was shouted at and screamed, but the shame. I felt god awful, like I was so unloved. And that's what I need to move through again, is to feel that pain of the little boy, which I say happened 10,000 times in my childhood. And that comes up and it's just, and I'll be in a supermarket, I'll be in a car, I don't care, I'll just cry and I'll be with myself and I'll just put my hand on my heart. I got you. I got you. And they're vulnerable moments. They're moments that people don't want to sit with because we've been told, don't cry, don't do this, push your emotions down. So that's another thing, is people are terrified of their emotions.
We suffer with it the most, right?
Yeah, and I think, and I understand why. I've studied with a wonderful gentleman who wrote an incredible book called To Be a Man. And again, we've been operating in the patriarchy without understanding what that means. So we're all little boys, and every single little boy is sensitive and vulnerable, and that's his authenticity. But not for long, because he has to be a man. Man up. Men do this, men don't do that. Don't cry. Men be this, do this. Men, man. Be manly, man up. That's a script. Because our truth is our authenticity and our sensitivity and vulnerability. But the society for thousands of years won't allow that. So now we have turned into like cartoon men. And, you told me a story about how Topanga broke your heart wide open. And, here's a story. I was sitting in a cafe in Topanga, and it was strangers. They were a couple, a man and a woman. And, I am who I am. And I started to emote and tears were coming out of my eyes. And the woman said in front of the guy, isn't it incredible that he can cry in front of you and me here in public? I said, no. Isn't it incredible that you think that this is incredible? This should be normal, acceptable. Absolutely nothing wrong with this. But they were aghast. He was, wow, this guy's crying. Doesn't even know us. And she's like, oh my God, he's so sensitive. I'm not so sensitive. I'm normal. This is talking about dysfunction. It's dysfunction not to cry. That's disease.
And it causes disease.
Yeah. A lot of repressed anger from little boys who were told to not be a little boy. Because to be a little boy and told to be a man, I'm a little boy. How can I be a man? So now I have to push everything down. There's shame because I'm a little boy. Now all my heroes on TV, all my sporting heroes are all men, and I'm a little boy. So now there's a lot of shame that I'm just not a man, but you're only a little boy. So that's part of the invisible part of society. And, and then, because of our repressed emotions and our inability to reconnect to that, the female gets upset. Well, they need compassion to understand this. So this is the education. We have to understand how they've been repressed by the masculine, and there's a lot of education there, and they have to educate themselves into the understanding that men are also wounded. They don't even know it. So there's a lot of great understanding going on, and education going on where people can, okay, instead of shouting and screaming at each other.
Oh man, the amount of men that, really, really need this opportunity to stop and go, wait a minute, I'm not even allowing myself to cry. We were talking downstairs before we came up here. 10 years I didn't cry after my mom's death because I just couldn't feel. I was so numb. And it was something that went back to, oh, well, I have to hold it together for the family. I have to be the one to,
be a man.
Be a man, basically.
Yeah.
Like, what would a man do in this situation? And when it was too much, it's so interesting. The body's like, you're not holding this anymore. And it's look for the opportunity for me to be with myself, which I was running away from, by the way. Anytime it was like being by myself, it was like social. And years ago I had sex addiction. It was like all this talk about addiction.
Yeah.
And then being in Topanga, it forced me to be alone. Like it forced me to, and then my phone would I'd make sure I'd have a thing that turned it off at night on purpose because I had a feeling something was happening. And that was like, I started feeling desperate. That's actually, we talk about like, we feel like we're going to die. That was like, I felt like a panic attack / I don't know how I'm going to get through this. And it was also nausea. It was like every discomfort feeling you can have coming up until I finally started to get these tears flowing for 30 days. And it was such a important moment in my life because I was like, holy moly, this is what I ran away from like with sex addiction and being so social and drinking at the time. This was all me running away from this horrible feeling. And it lasted for like a week every night. I was like, oh, here it comes again, and then it started getting better. But man, there was a lot of pain there. How many men are living without even knowing that there's pain there, living with this feeling, adapting, and just going about their lives, going to work and making all this money?
Yeah. Overcompensating, and the other word is soothing. And you just expressed that is we soothing the pain we don't want to face, because if we feel the pain, it's going to hurt and then we're going to cry, whatever is going to come up, but we just don't. And we have so many distractions, sedations, stimulations to not face ourselves and face our pain, that it's so easy to soothe, go to a bar, go to a crowd, be by yourself. No, most people, the only time they're by themselves when they're not on the phone or they're not getting, is when they're asleep. So they're not even facing themselves. So when I again do sessions and I speak to people, one of the last things I say once they get to where they are is, how do you soothe? Well, I don't drink. Okay, well, how do you soothe? Well, the phone. Okay. So I'll tell you this, whether you're going to the phone, whether you're going to porn, whether you're going to the gym, because a lot of people say, well, I go to the gym, I use that a lot. I say, okay, before you pick up the porn, before you pick up the phone, before you go to the gym, there's a feeling. Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's a feeling I don't want to sit with. Sit with it. And then you can do whatever, but I want you to experience getting used to feeling what it's like to be discomfort, in the discomfort and the unease, because that's what you need to get through. Because that's when the tears come. That's when we start to feel. That's when we start to actually get back to healing. Where soothing, if you're soothing a wound, soothing pain, soothing it, there's no healing. And the reason you're soothing it is because the pain's coming up and it wants to say, hey, could you face me, please? I need you to feel me. And we go, no, soothe, don't want to feel it, don't want to feel it, don't want to feel it. So many ways. So it's a very, very courageous thing to face the pain and feel it. That's why they call it the hero's journey.
The hero's journey, exactly.
Yeah.
And I love the there's a freedom right there, what you just said. It's like, okay, cold turkey, turn off the phone, turn off the porn, turn off the gym addiction, just cold turkey. I don't think that lasts for many people. And it might be too intense to just and then, what am I going to do? But the fact that like you're giving these people the opportunity and the advice to just feel.
Yes. They're not going to die. It's that you're not going to die. Nothing's going to happen, but just feel it and move to the next level.
Right.
So you might not have to sit all the way through, but just sit and breathe. And then give it 5 minutes. Then go to the gym. Then go to the porn. Then pick up social media. But start to get used to starting to do this. And now you begin a process. All right. I'll sit a little longer. Oh, that was really difficult. And then maybe 2 weeks down the line, someone might just phone me up and go, I cried. It's a good thing.
And I love that. 5 minutes. You can even practically put a timer and just go, okay, let me close my eyes. I'm going to watch the porn. I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to whatever it is. It's go on my phone when I know I couldn't be because I have so much things to do, but just breathe and feeling like what's going on here. What's really going on?
Here's one for men's work. I worked with this amazing author in the book To Be a Man. And he said, before you go to porn or masturbate, and he said, first of all, don't use porn. He said, and don't use your imagination. I was like, what? He said, if you're going to play with yourself, do it to connect to yourself. You're so disconnected. That's what men are so disconnected. He said, just, okay. But he said, what I want you to do is, I want you to, before you go and do it, I want you to drop in and sense what's behind it. I'm like, what do you mean? I said, I want to get off. He said, there's a reason. I want you to feel what's behind it. All right. So whenever it was, I was, okay, anger. That's the anger from being beaten and screamed at again and again. And the only way I could soothe as a little boy was to play with myself. But that was never healed. So then I had to face that. Oh, wow, that's what all of this fucking porn or masturbation. There's rage and anger to varying degrees, however you were screamed at, shouted at, whatever. Every time you're shouted at or you're beaten, whatever, there's, just want to be loved. I just want to be loved. So that's stuck. So this is men's work is to, okay, wow, now I have to sit in that and bring love to that little boy who just wanted to be loved, but he got screamed at and shouted at. So, that's a lot of what drives men and they don't even realize. So again, in a nutshell, we have a sexual charge, but our charge is in charge of us. So the way is to do this work is to become in charge of your charge, where it's not ruling you. And now you're not like, it's like, okay, I get it. I feel it. So I think, and our society is so overtly sexualized. I went to the Amazon, do plant medicine 3 times. I visited 5 tribes. They're all as naked as anything. The body is not sexualized. None of the women there had any care about what they looked like. And then I realized, wow, our whole society, and it's been done on purpose, to basically create lack, insecurity that makes people buy. But the vanity industry, fashion industry, trillions of dollars, because we are overtly sexualized and worry about how we are perceived and how we are seen. So there's a lot of dysfunction in how we have been raised in an overtly sexualized society, but also with all of that repressed anger and be a man, and then the beatings and the screamings. And now little boys want to know why they can't stop playing with themselves.
This is really important for us to realize. There might be a connection between emotion that has been repressed and that addictive behavior, because I don't think that a lot of men have heard that, right? Like, anger could be the thing that's driving your porn addiction or sex addiction or whatever, or food addiction, because sometimes we think about like, oh, I'm just anxious and I'm addicted, but there's something under all of that.
Shame.
Yeah.
Especially for men.
Big shame. Lots
of shame. If a man reacts, especially to the feminine, don't talk to me like that. What are we? What's he doing? He's covering his shame. So he's getting big and he's raising his voice, because really you hit the shame button. So if a woman is, because it depends on how dominant his mother was or his father was, put him down, felt no good, bad, wrong, stupid. To varying degrees, there's shame, 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 shame. So when that shame is triggered, instead of going, can I express something to you? I feel this when that happens. Now you have a dialogue and he gets to confront his vulnerability and deal with it. But we don't know how to do this. We've not been taught how to do this. Instead, the man on the move is react. What do they do in Westerns?
Yeah.
That's shame. Don't put me down. Don't make me look small. Make me look small. Yeah. Small, shame. No one makes you small. I can't be any smaller than I am, but my emotional ego will feel smaller. So I will attack and defend from that place. Shame. Don't want to feel shame. And yes, the anger is what covers the shame.
How many of us right now, viewing and listening, know one person in our lives who reacts in shame by getting really big and overcompensating?
Yeah.
I know a few people,
Here's the journey. This is a crazy journey. So we have violence, which is unprocessed aggression. The aggression doesn't know where to go and it snaps. That aggression is unprocessed anger. And that anger doesn't know where to go, so it turns to aggression. It all depends on how much that anger has come from a place which is hurt. So depending on how much hurt, there's how much anger, there's how much aggression, there's how much snap violence. Where does hurt come from? Not being loved. Shame. When you're not loved and you feel unloved, nobody loves me. Shame. So however much shame of feeling bad, wrong, stupid, no good, nobody loves me, not good enough, piles up, and we now have, again, violent criminal who's just full of pain and shame. And they didn't know how to process the aggression or to process the anger or the hurt and the pain and the shame, because they just wanted to be loved.
That's compassion, because how many people are in that exact tract of expression? Whether they haven't let themselves get aggressive and they're just bubbling up in that anger. So many of us are in that tract already,
It's a journey.
It's a whole damn journey, man. I mean, like, look, I wanted to talk about God and heaven and hell. We have to do another one then. We just got to do another one if that's the case. Because, I want people to digest all of this, because this is important stuff.
It is. I've been on a humbling journey from who I was to this man. And I deal with and speak with men, and it's the most beautiful thing when I speak with men and they burst into tears. And they go, I didn't know I could do this. I didn't know. It's brilliant. It's the most wonderful thing. So we're in a really good time right now. And again, thank you for having me on, because this is how it happens. And then other men who will be watching, and women, now go, oh my God, that's what he's got inside him. Oh my God, that's what's going on. And I've been busy pushing him, or I've been busy judging him, or judging my dad, or judging my mom, or judging my brother. That's where all the judgments disappear. And I say, turn your judgments to lovements. That's compassion.
That's something that we can remember right there. Turn the judgments to lovements. True compassion, man. I got these love stickers. I got a love book. Can you tell us about these books that you got here?
Well, the love book is my art. I paint, and I paint from my journey of this journey. I started painting the word love, and it's very, very psychedelic or pop art. I call it bubblegum pop art. And I just do many different images of love. And that's a coffee table book of maybe 65 prints. And it's just sweetness. It's just fun and joyful. And someone came up to me and they've been in my gallery in Topanga and they said, which is in my house. And they said, you need a coffee table book. And I thought, wow, that's a good idea. So I got that made. And the other book is my journey of, let's say, 25 years. And really the journey since my mother did have cancer and I started digging into the rabbit hole. And then this conscious spiritual journey, whatever you want to label it. I went to this master and this teacher and I did this course and went to the jungle, did ayahuasca. I've been here, there and everywhere to formulate, to get to, oh, no one gave me this. And I formulated, okay, whether it be the understanding of the patriarchy of the nuclear family, whether it be the understanding of the wounds and the trauma, which are just labels of behaviors and emotions, I formulated a way that I work with people. And I wanted to get this quarter of a century journey as easy and as simple in like a map here. Who gave you the map to life? Dysfunctional parents, dysfunctional system, dysfunctional media, dysfunctional schools. Go out there, get it. Don't work on this. Don't look at this. So this is a map which teaches you simply how to navigate and translate everything you're going to come into in life. And once you have that, it's about practicing the moments. So that's a book that I literally brought out a month and it's just doing so well, which is just people going, here, read this. That rest is yours. And it is, to me, I want to make this as simple as possible. There's no over articulation. There's no woo woo. It's very, very simple. So I call everything we talked about, I think you said, not good, bad, wrong, stupid. I'm unloved, I'm unworthy, I'm deserving. And I call that the bag of unloved not enoughness. And we've all got a bag of that inside. And that's the work. And this book is showing you that life is giving you opportunities, but we don't know how to see them and navigate them and translate them. And once you learn a language, it's like, I tell you to go to Guatemala, I don't know, maybe another country somewhere where you don't speak the language. And I say, go and do business for me. You're going to come back and I'm going, how do you do? Okay, here's a manual that teaches you the language and English. So you come back and I go, how do you do? You go, So now I'm going to give you this device. And this device you talk into and it immediately talks the other language. How are you going to do? Yeah, I got it. But it was a process of getting to get better and better. So this is learning to live again.
Beautiful. And simple.
Yeah.
We need simple.
Yeah.
People were tired of like over articulation, as you said, and too much woo this, like practical, simple, and we can apply it to our lives now.
Yeah.
And what's the name of the book?
The Map.
Okay.
The Map, the navigation and translation to life and the human experience.
Go get it, everyone.
Oh, yeah.
Go get it. We need simple. Go get it. If this resonated with you, go get it. And where can we find you?
Oh, where you find me or the book?
Yeah, well, you. Well,
find me.
You got
Instagram. I'm right here. I'm with you always. I'm in your heart. I'm on Instagram, David Dayan Fisher. I throw out content after content after content because I believe whatever comes up, even in the night, I write it down. Whatever comes out throughout the day, I'll put on a video or I'll write because stuff is always coming through. And I'm just sharing.
Yeah.
And I've been doing this for years. And right now, it's really astounding when I go and look at the DMs. Thank you. You've changed my life. Okay. Purpose.
I was going to say, you're on purpose.
I had no idea. I had no idea.
And it led you here.
Thank you.
Beautiful, man. Thank you so much for your wisdom. Everyone go follow, go watch the videos, check out the book, check out the art, love pop art. Put it right on the camera right there. My man, David, thank you so much for the wisdom, man. You made it practical, but connected to the heart. And that's something that I really, really can relate to. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.